Everybody, welcome to podcast 196. Do you want to be the bummed? Do they even say that anymore? No. Do you want to be No. Do you want to be
Whiz Bam Snappy?
Do you want Biz Bam?
You want to be Whiz Bam Snappy?
Do you want to be the best? Do you want to be the best? Stay with us.
This is the Elevate Construction Podcast, delivering remarkable content for workers, leaders, and companies in construction wanting to take their next step. Get ready to step out of your comfort zone with Jason Schroeder as he encourages you to do better, live a remarkable life, and expect more. Let's go.
Okay, welcome everybody. I hope you enjoyed that little intro. We got Brandon Montero, Survey Jesus with a lowercase j, and Spencer Freaking Easton. What's your nickname, Spence?
You said Spence Money.
Spence Money. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'm kind of falling down. So welcome everybody. Today we got a question, and actually I am going to read the whole thing because it is very favorable to me. I got some feedback today. It said, "You're the bomb, Jason. I absolutely love your podcast. I'm on the owner's side, so if you have any research that can correlate a clean and respectful site to more profitability, less mistakes, that would be great. Also, I want you to talk about BIM clash detection." And then here's the question we're answering tonight, and I'm putting our wonderful guests, Brandon and Spencer, on the spot here. Tonight, we're going to answer the question, this is so flattering. I'm going to cry. How do you get people as excited as you are and to be as wonderful of a human as you are and a role model in construction? And then I got a less than symbol and a 3, which if everybody knows is a heart right there. Anyway, and here's my bracelet that somebody gave me the other day. Anyway, so that's the question we're answering tonight. But it really comes down to, energy, drive, focus, purpose. But I'm going to let these guys answer. Before we get to that, just real quick, doesn't have to be too long. Spencer, I'm putting you on the spot. What are you excited about right now? Other than my cool background behind here. Tell me this is not cool.
I'm excited that 2021 we're able to continue to improve because I'm on a leaning myself as far as my health, diet and exercise. And I'm just excited that it's just a good year to be doing that.
So for those of you who don't know I might get in trouble for this, but I'm going to go anyway. One of my sons, Liam, is like a fan favorite wherever he goes. Yes, all of you other kids are favorites too. I'm just kidding. My mom, she lectures me. She's like, all of your kids are special. No. I'm talking about Liam right now. He's super funny. He's a fan favorite everywhere we go. And he calls 2021. He says, this is 2020 fun. So if he says it, it's going to be a good year. Brandon, what are you excited about, boss?
I'm working on a lot of training content right now, and I really enjoy watching it come together and feeling like things are being communication and words are amongst my love languages. And so really seeing things come together from a teaching, learning aspect and being happy with the product that I'm putting out there, super exciting to me. So that's something that's got me fired up right now.
I love it. And so tonight, as we go into the podcast topic, we're going to do this a little bit differently. It won't take that long. We're probably going to be 5 minutes, which means it's going to be an hour and a half. but we're going to answer the question, how do you get people to be excited, wonderful, and good role models? So that's the question. So Brandon, Spencer, please be thinking about that. No pressure. But if you don't get the answer right, everybody's listening and watching and judging. So real quick, though, before we go on, there is a positive bit of feedback from our fans. So I'm going to read that too, because I'm going to read the other one over and over and over until we answer all the questions. So here's one from one of our listeners. I'm enjoying listening to your podcast and gaining an overview of the construction industry in the U.S. I have been in construction here in the UK since 1984, and it's good to listen to your interviews. Thank you very much. So really appreciated that. Now we're going freestyle, everybody. We've had some really intense podcasts. We're going to have some really cool ones in the future. Brandon, please kick us off. This is a free-for-all. How do we get people excited, wonderful, and to be role models in construction? I'm assuming that means if they're stagnant and in their comfort zone, right now?
All right. Well, you just pigeonholed my really diverse comment that I was going to start off with.
No, go back.
I'm
Go
just
back.
kidding. I was gonna ignore you anyway.
That's awesome.
There's a concept that I've been thinking a whole lot about lately, and that is trying to see through the lens of someone else. So when I say the lens, like when they look at you, they're looking at you through the lens of their experience, their feelings, their emotions, their interpretations of your word. And all of that, because we're human beings to some extent, is a little bit on the selfish side, right? We're typically the centers of our own universe in some way. And so for me, as somebody that enjoys, I want to say teaching, but what I really mean is effectively reaching people. That's what makes me happy, is trying to put myself in the lens of someone else and see, what do they actually want? What do they actually want for themselves? Mm-hmm. What's driving them? And to go to that aspect and motivate them from the standpoint of, how can I help you be the version of you that you want to be? Not what I look at and see, oh, well, you could touch up this, you could touch up that. But what do you really want? And help a person move towards that as a goal. I feel like everyone, even the staunch introverts, have those moments where they're just like, yeah, but I also wish that I could. We all do that. And so trying to put myself in that person's shoes, look at experience and look at opportunities through their lens and think, what do they really want to be for themselves? Because nothing's more motivating than reaching those personal goals. And a lot of times they're long-standing personal goals, especially when it comes to getting out of our box. So that's probably a first step for me, is to try and see what it is that they want, what it is that they're looking for.
Love it. Spencer, follow that.
It's always hard to follow Brandon. And to feed off of that, for me, it's looking past who your immediate sphere of influence is. In Lean, we're taught to understand who our customer is. And in my role, throughout my career, I've always wanted to go deeper than just my immediate customer. Who's my customer relying on, or my customer's customer? Like what part in the grand scheme of things am I really playing, and what value do I really bring, or could I potentially bring? And understanding that, it makes the why appear a lot clearer, and can create more opportunities for that influence, like Brandon brought up, so that you can pinpoint exactly, I know that when I do this, it's not just affecting my immediate surroundings, but in the grand scheme of things, this is what I contribute, right? And that is part of a person's growth and happiness in any position they're at.
Yeah. Real quick, just to kind of build on, and I want you guys to keep riffing as you want to do, but Brandon, some people start where they're like, I want to give, but they don't know themselves, right? And some people only focus on themselves and they never give. So your answer combined is almost like, but probably not almost, probably ideal, right? Is for you to give to other people. You have to know who you are and elevate yourself through discipline, through, Brandon talks about being your own environment, sometimes being healthy, mentally healthy, physically healthy, and having that triad of focus, physiology, and language key. If you worship God, have that relationship good. If you're in tune with nature, meditation, whatever, have that going good, right? Because once you're at an elevated position, not looking down on others, but meaning you're at a better position to serve, then we go into what you just said, Spencer, that really the best thing in life is giving. And using that, which Brandon, you mentioned being yourself, but for both of you, I've never met people that are givers more than you. You're always out there doing something from somebody else. So once you're whole, right, then go into that true mode of happiness, eternal happiness, what I call it, where you're giving, serving, and thinking of others, and you're confident enough and you have your needs met to where you're able to send that out into the universe. Any thoughts? I have one from my perspective, but I'd like you guys to wear out your thoughts first. I'll go after you.
I was also thinking of a conversation that we had recently about rewiring our reward models to create. What am I trying to say? When you feel that sensation of, hey, I'm out here making choices that are scary. I'm in new territory. I'm outside of my comfort zone. I'm stretching myself from an emotional range standpoint. And when you feel that feeling and you're stretching yourself and growing, that feels like a voice inside you says, yep, this is the right direction. You're, scared crapless right now. You're out there waving around in the wind because you don't, exactly know how to do it, but you know that you want to grow and you're reaching. And that feels like a voice saying, hey, this is the right direction. Keep going, keep doing this. You feel a reward coming from that. And so when we're bringing people along, we need to do the same thing and make sure that we're incentivizing that growth, incentivizing vulnerability. I would say, like in this group, even before we got on our call before this, we were kind of like giving each other, ribbing each other about being on time and agreements that we made. And it's like, it's all a really fun environment, but really we're totally serious about holding each other accountable. And that stuff means something to us, but it's a fun zone now. Where instead, before when somebody calls you out, you're kind of like, that stinking, but now it's just like, haha, that's my best buddy that does that. Who else would call me out directly to my face in the most plain words where you just got to be like, yep, that hit me right on the forehead. It's fun, but our incentive, our reward model has changed where when we feel those things of like, you're being really vulnerable, you're being ultra accountable and transparent, and all of that stuff feels like you're going the right direction. There's a reward for you here. It's a good place to be in. We want to, inculcate that in others by creating reward and value when they behave that way.
That's that red zone. That's where you feel your passion come out when you're able to hit that red zone, like you were talking about, Brandon. That's where happiness comes from, right? It's because we were able to get there. I love that.
And for a red zone, that's what am I good at? What can I get paid for? What do I enjoy, right? And do that in a way that's truly authentic. But like Brandon is saying, you're doing it in a way where the reward cycle is utilizing the energy that is unique to you within that red zone, right? So this is something I forgot to mention in our previous meeting. Somebody said, hey, Jason, I got 10 grand, 12 people. What training would you recommend? And we happen to do that at Elevate. So I would either point them in the direction of rapport, or I'd say hire Elevate and say, you need know thyself and then give training. Meaning when we take people through either a builder boot camp or an operational excellence boot camp or any of these boot camps, right? What we're teaching people to do is to know themselves, to get past their fear, to what Brandon is saying is to change their reward feedback loop from being, hey, am I safe, to am I progressing, right? And then once they've truly utilized their potential, because they have great gifts that only they have, how can I give that to the world? How can I share that with the most amount of people? The one thing I was going to say, which ties in, then you guys can take it from there and continue to answer, is I had a client just today actually say, Jason, I need your energy right now. I don't have the same energy as Spencer does. I don't have the same energy as Brandon does. But what energy I do have that's me, I work very hard to bring that out, to be in a state where physiologically and focus-wise and education-wise and the words that I use will bring that out. And so one thing that people always say about Jason, a lot of energy, but anybody can have an energy, even if that person's energy is peaceful, if that person's energy is compassion, connection, understanding, accountable, innovative, whatever. Their energies are all different. So Jason Schroeder or Spencer or Brandon doesn't have more energy than somebody else per se. It's just that we found what ours is. To your point, Brandon, right? And we are bringing that out at every opportunity. And like you said, Spencer, doing what we can to bring that to the most amount of people, which is giving. Thoughts?
So it's interesting because a leader in an organization, I'm imagining, reached out to you, Jason, and is asking, I need something because I know I'm lacking it. And what we've been able to bring to a lot of these boot camps is when we have an attendee or someone that is going through the training, a lot of times they're not asking that question why. They don't know that there's something past the comfort zone. They're stuck in that comfort zone and they have the blinders on and they've never had them removed, or they've never thought, oh, I have blinders on. And unless we have people around us that are willing to give us that feedback and talk to us about those things, or that we're bold enough to track and understand what we do wrong ourselves and search for that, we're never going to know what breaking through really is. Yeah. Unless we see what we cannot see, right?
Yeah. I love that. I don't want to interrupt you if you're going to say something, Brandon. I just feel like, there's an analogy. We usually use it in a church setting, but, if you have binoculars, there's two lenses, right? And usually when we do the surveying thing, whether we're in class, right, you're going to focus on an object, put your hands up in the air, hold both eyes open, bring it back to the center of your face, right? And it's going to show your dominant eye. Mine's the right eye, right? When the binoculars come together, your dominant eye takes charge of the field of view. And the question is which eye is seeing our potential in our life right now? Is it the eye, is our dominant eye the eye that sees who we can become authentically ourselves? Or the eye that sees us as other people see us, or see us as we are now? And I've attempted, I haven't said try in like 3 weeks, Brandon. You'd be so proud of me. Well, I just said it. But anyway, I work on, is my dominant eye seeing who I really am? And am I guiding my life in that direction? And am I giving all of that to everybody? And am I holding back? Because my personality, just to be a little selfish, I'm going to piss off half the people I'm around, and the other half are going to absolutely freaking love me. And then half of the people I piss off after being with them, 60% of them will end up loving me. But there's still always going to be the 60% of the 50. I don't know what that is. That's like 50 plus 30, that's 80. There's still going to be 20% of the people. I'm not their style, right? But I can't change myself to cater to that. I need to authentically be me for that 80% of people out there, which has been a key thing for me. Anyway, I just wanted to add that for me, the focus for me in answering this person's question, excited, wonderful, role model. Am I excited about being me? Do I have a sense of self-worth? Am I designing myself and developing myself to be wonderful and to be a role model? Am I at a point where I'm authentically giving myself and being vulnerable? That to me is answering a couple of those questions. So let me be more specific. Brandon, is there anything else you want to say to answer the question? How do you get people, workers, foremen, supers, people at home, whoever, to live up to their potential and be excited, wonderful, and to be a role model? Any other thoughts with that? You're like, holy cow, Jason, you're putting me on the spot.
It would be really easy to kind of default to the concept of 100%, but I just want to, restate that from a growth capacity idea. If you're considering, like you said, looking at using your dominant eye, being the one that's looking at, what your life path is, making sure that you're moving in that direction, that you're actively doing those things. Are you pushing yourself for growth? Asking yourself that regularly, because there's no time in our lives in which we are done growing, in which we're done stretching and exploring our emotional capacity so that we can understand others and ourselves better. And so along with 100% effort and intensity and things like that, giving our all to the curiosity towards growth, towards a dedication to continue to grow and continue to work at being something better for the benefit of yourself and for the benefit of people around you that you plan to affect, that you want to affect. There's a 100% there. And just like all of the rest of them, that bar, if you touched it today, is higher tomorrow. And continuing to reframe, look at yourself, make sure that you're heading in the right direction and asking that question, is this all I've got? And is there more that I can do tomorrow?
I love that. And Spencer, you may have already had an answer. Brandon kind of answered the question by how he focuses on being those things. If you want to take that same path, we can as well. But Brandon, one thing, your story, or I don't even know how you say it, reflection on when you look in the mirror in the car, when you're putting your lady in the car and then looking in the mirror, that seems to me to be a good way to form a habit of asking that question. Do you mind stating that story real quick for our listeners?
Oh, sure. I was raised, thankfully, to be the type of person that opens the door for my significant other. And when she gets in the car and I close the door and I, see myself in the window there, it's a good moment to check in and be like, are you about to treat this person the best that you can? Are you going to show up at 100% for this relationship, this particular evening, right? Not just in general, for the conversations that are about to ensue, or how I'm going to act when we go wherever we're going to go. When I come home from work, there's the little, glass window as you're walking up to the door and you see your little reflection and, hey, your hair's looking pretty flat, A, but also B, when you walk in the door, are you about to deliver? And not like I'm putting on an act, but I'm asking myself that truly as a person, are you going to be the type of person that, she wants to be in a relationship when you go inside with? And are you going to be that at 100%? Or like, am I going to be like, I probably get by at 65 and she would just still stick around with me? No, I want to nail that. I want to exceed at it. I want there to be no question. And so I have to reframe, and I use those opportunities as kind of a little, regular check-in, because how often do you see for me, my little beady eyes staring back at myself? It's pretty often. And so I just take that moment to just be like, are you paying attention right now? Are you connected to this picture, your life that's happening this moment, or are you somewhere else? That's my reframe.
And one thing with that, Brandon, as we bring up the 100% in boot camp, and you've brought up that story in the past, it's always around a teaching moment that we have where we have a list of criteria, expectations, or rules, and whether that's self-imposed by ourselves, like you with your significant other, if you have expectations, rules, that you want to show up and not just plop down on the couch, and you want to help with dishes, or you want to make sure that you're asking her about her day, or whatever that she needs, or what you want to give and contribute, that to me was the aha moment of giving 100%, because Spencer Easton turning into beast mode, I can flick that on in any second when I'm not deciding to be 100% and just go crazy. But what am I going crazy in? Is it beneficial to what I'm about to contribute, and is it hitting the mark, right? So in boot camp, when we do those examples or those tests, we would have a list of criteria, and are you showing up 100% to give to that, right?
And the criteria really is, and I have to say this before I forget, the criteria really is, are you successful and fulfilled when we're in our personal life? Meaning that anybody listening, you're probably on your way to being a director or a general superintendent or a senior project manager. Are you doing that because that's who you really are, or because that's what people told you you had to be? So follow Brandon's advice. You have to redefine success to be outside of your comfort zone, but don't be outside of your comfort zone becoming somebody you're not. Anytime Brando and I talk about, and student Spencer, when he goes to Rapport Leadership International Training, we're never talking be 100% somebody else. We're talking be 100% yourself. And I do want to say, and this is important to me, and I hope it shows authenticity, Brandon, and not, I hope I'm not cheapening it, but as I'm staring at you, Brandon, with your beard and your hair and the way you carry yourself and your body art, you have designed a person that you want to be. Your parents didn't tell you to be like that. You didn't have anybody else say that, and you listen. Nobody else said that. You did that for you. And you're living a life and teaching and mentoring and guiding, and you're an ops leader for you. And I just look at that, and all of us are doing this. So I don't want to leave Spencer and me out of this, but I want to focus on that, is that it's key for us to be who we really are, or else we will be successful and not fulfilled. And that is the ultimate failure. And I want to say it one more time, Tony Robbins will say the same thing. Being success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. So if you want to go be excited, wonderful, and be a role model, then you have to be you first. And then get outside of your comfort zone, like Brandon's saying, and be the best you that you can be. And then as Spencer's saying, be the best you that you can be while you're giving to humanity. Spencer,
even if the best that you can be is a small, teeny, scrappy beard compared to Brandon's,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm owning it, right?
Yeah. Well, did you have anything else to say, Spencer? I cut you off.
No. That's good.
Okay. I love it. Brandon, you had something to say, boss.
Sure. Just listening to the comment that you said, and I will agree with you in that when I was growing up, specifically, I was not allowed to grow my sideburns lower than the top of my earlobe or the bottom of my ear canal. That was like the max length for a sideburns. That's the tiniest snapshot that I can think of where, there was an expectation of what kind of a person I would be that fit a template predetermined by someone else that didn't necessarily reflect any of my values. And sometimes we have those templates placed on us that don't even reflect anyone's values. They're just standard preset templates that people have been putting value in for a long time and just kind of propagating and kicking down the road. And I would say that, so I learned to fulfill those templates great and put on a good face of being what I felt was required of me or what was anticipated of me, but was way below who I was as a person or what I could offer as a person. And so essentially, I was watering myself down for years to be the thing that was expected of me instead of what I was. And what that meant was, even though I met everyone's expectations, everyone met me and had a smile on their face and a good taste in their mouth, nobody actually knew who I was. I didn't feel emotionally fulfilled because no one knew me and I wasn't sharing myself with anyone. And the possibility for those things wasn't out there. So in me, Jason, like you said, like becoming my own person or, crafting my own person. And of course, right, that's mentally and emotionally, not just with the trimmer in the morning, but like that's a real thing to work on as a human being. Like not only did I want to be myself, but there's also someone that I wanted to be further than myself, outside of myself, and grow into. Yeah. And that's a lifelong task for sure.
I love that. So I hope this podcast has been helpful. This comes in direct response to the question, the feedback that we were getting. I wanted to get that right out. Like that's faster than Jimmy John's right there, everybody. Like the next day, people, come on. So how do you get people as excited? Give them something meaningful to work for. Give them a wonderful team, a wonderful environment, a purpose, a mission, vision, and then find their energy. What energy do they bring forward and help them with that? to be wonderful, for somebody to be wonderful, find out who they are and get them operating outside of their comfort zone authentically and heading towards success and fulfillment. And the ultimate answer of how to be a role model, and then to get the less than symbol and the number 3 that forms a little heart symbol, that comes from giving. Once you know why you were put on this earth to give, what are your talents, what are the things that only you can do, and you actually are delivering that, that's when life gets remarkable and you're a role model. So any last things, Spencer? Okay,
Nope.
Brandon, on we go.
You're supposed to do 1, 2, 3.
Okay, let's do it. Well, there's the accountability.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
On we go.
Yeah, one more time. That sucked. 1, 2, 3.
On we go. Ah, dang it.
We're gonna get a metronome and probably the little bouncing bubble.
Yes.
Tick,
We'll
tick,
get
tick.
this, people.
Well, yeah, I don't want to talk to you anymore. I'll see you guys later. Bye.
Please join us next time in elevating the entire construction experience for workers, leaders, and companies coast to coast. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to share with your construction colleagues and help us spread the word by rating, subscribing, and leaving a review on your preferred podcast listening platform. We really appreciate it. We'll catch you next time on the Elevate Construction Podcast.